Yo, what is up? So in this tutorial, we're gonna go ahead and set our first hair. So on this button, it'll be no hair. This button, it'll set your hair, and you can go back to no hair. You can go back and forth. And yeah, it's quite the task. It's very tedious. Especially if you want to change heads, you will have to tweak some things. So just to show you on a new head real quick, we will change our face to this guy who has a little bit of a bigger head. You will have to change the location and stuff per head. But yeah, let's just hop into it. Alright, so let's hop into our main menu level. Then we're gonna hop into our blueprints, widgets, main menu widget. And what we want to do here, we're gonna go ahead and set this, our hair button 1. Click on your hair button 1, go down to the on clicked. And we're gonna pull this guy over here. We're gonna come pull this over because we're gonna need some room. And the first hair is gonna be fairly easy because it's just gonna be us going bald. So that'll be easy, but we need to make an enumerator. So let's do that. Let's go into our blueprints, enums, custom character enums. We're gonna make a new enum. So right click, go to blueprint, enumeration, and we're gonna call this hair underscore E. And we're gonna open that, and we're gonna add an enumerator. We're gonna call this first one hair 1. Second one, we're gonna call hair 2. Second one, we're gonna call hair 3. Like that. That's all we need to do in there. So now we need to go into our blueprints, components, custom character CP, and we need to add that enumerator here. So add variable. We're just gonna call this hair. We're gonna find our hair E right here. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Hair E, our hair enum right there. Compile and save. And by default, that'll be hair 1. That'll be our bald hair. So we just leave that for now. We're going to go back into our main menu widget. And what we're going to do here is we're going to get our player ref. Get player ref. Then we're going to get our custom character component. And then we're going to get our hair. We're going to set our hair to hair 1. Right here. Then we are going to come off of here. We're going to grab a branch, so press B and click like that. And then we're going to just copy this, our player ref right here. And we're going to get our player stats. Get player stats. And we're going to get is male. And based on if we are male or female, we want to change the location. It doesn't really matter for this one because we're just going bald, but we're going to use this one real quick for testing, to test our location and stuff for our hair. So what we want to do, we're going to copy our player ref again and paste that in. And we want to get our hair. So just get hair. Get your hair right here. And we're going to pull off of here and we're going to set groom asset. And we're just going to use this for testing right now. So we're going to set our groom asset to hair 1, like that. So compile and save. And so yeah, setting groom asset, that'll set your groom asset to your new hair. But there's some things I'm going to do real quick. So for testing purposes, I'm not going to use the LODs that we made in the last one. So I'm going to go into my custom hair and open this up, because with this hair it's a bit ugly on the lower LODs, so I'm just gonna delete all of these LODs for now. You can use them if you want. You can tweak them, see how they look. It looks pretty bad at the lower LODs, so I'm just gonna keep LODs 0 and 1 for now. And I'm gonna go into our third person blueprint, third person right here. I'm gonna open them up, and I'm gonna find our hair right here. And I'm just gonna find a hair material. So just type in hair And we're just gonna find one of our metahuman hairs. MI underscore hair. Let's click that one. And we'll just leave that there for now. I don't know what color that is, but we'll see when we test it out. So on our hair right here, when you're clicked on your hair, we're gonna parent this to the head. So hit search on that, and we're gonna parent that to the head. And we're gonna need to tweak the location of this. So when you parent it like this, all these axes kind of get wonky. So for now, I'm just gonna hit the back arrow on both of these. And the X is now kind of the Z, I believe. So let's set that to negative 192, I think is what I had it at. Or just negative 190. And yeah, you can see that's kind of the Z now because we parented it. So we're gonna do that for the time being, and we're just gonna tweak our hair when we click our button right here for a moment. So hair, click our hair one button, see where that goes. Don't see it at all. Let's see. It went. I don't see it. Did it go under us? It did. Yeah, it went under us. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna have to tweak this. So I think on rotation, I had it at negative 180. I think I had, on the x-axis, it was negative 180. I think on the y, I had it at negative 90. And then on the z, I had it at 180, I believe. Just to kind of make this go a little faster. I believe that was the values, so let's just check that. And we'll test that again. Here. Set it. Looks like that did not go where we wanted it to. Let's figure out where that hair went. I don't see it at all. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's set this stuff back. We'll do it one at a time. I'm gonna set this to negative 182 on the X, on the location. On the rotation, let's just set that to negative 180. We'll do them one at a time and check where they go. So, let's do that and test. Hair, click the button. And let's see where that went. It is way over here. Okay. So I'm gonna change the location. Let's change it to negative 90 for now until we get the rotation right. So now let's set the Y to negative 90. We want the Y facing forward, I believe. Let's try negative 180. 0. Let's try the Z. Negative 180. Let's try that. See what that looks like. That set the hair. It's over here. We're getting closer. So now let's try to set the Y to 90 or 0. Maybe we need to change the X. Try negative 90. Nope. 90. Negative 180. Let's try the Y. 90. Let's try 180 on the Z. And then negative 90 on the Y. Let's try that. Negative 180, negative 90, and 180. We will give that a shot real quick. And let's see. Looks like it's just about there. Yeah, that should be right. We just need to change the location on the head to be in the proper spot. So now, let's go back. And we're going to set the location to -156. Let's try that. Hair click, and that's just about right. That is about right. I do want to change that hair material. Well, I guess that hair material is fine for now. It works for the time being. So yeah, that should be good. That's all we want to tweak here, but we are going to use these values again later on. So we should be good in there. But like I said in the last tutorial, typically, if you're not using a character creator, when you make hair like this, typically you wouldn't want to do this. Typically, you would just create a binding asset and then use the binding, and it'll, you know, it'll go to your hair. It'll go on your head. But because we're going to be changing our heads, if you use a binding is used for specific, you know, specific skeletal meshes. So if you use a binding on this, it'll just fly off. When you change your head, it'll just fly off their head because they don't have the same binding. You probably could make a new binding per like skeletal mesh. That's probably an option, but I think this method is faster. But if you wanted to, you could create a binding per skeletal mesh, and that would probably work. But I'm just gonna do it this way. This way's faster. Alright, so now what we want to do here is we're just gonna delete that groom asset in our main menu, and we're gonna set groom asset. We're gonna set this one to be none for male and female. So we're gonna hook the true and false into this and just create a reroute. Make it look a little cleaner. And yeah, that's all we want to do for that one. So now we just want to go back into our designer, and we're going to click on our next button, our hair button 2. We're going to go down to the on clicked, and we're going to pull this over. And we're just going to copy all of this right here. Control C, Control V. And we're going to plug this in. And we're going to set our hair to hair 2. And then we want to do some different things here. We're going to get rid of our... Okay, actually, we can leave this how it is, but we're going to change our hair to be hair 1. But we want to do some different things after this based on the different head types that we have. So we're going to grab a branch. So press B on your keyboard and click. And we're going to grab a player ref. Get player ref. And just to kind of separate the male and female stuff, I am going to separate that for now. Just hook this into the true, just to kind of keep this stuff a little more separate. I'm going to pull this stuff up, and we'll set the same groom asset for the female. I just want it to be a little cleaner looking for the male and female stuff. So for now, we'll do it like this. And I'm going to pull all of this down because we're going to need some room. And then we're going to pull our player ref, and we're going to get custom character component. And we're going to get our head, get head type. And we're going to see if it is equal. We're going to get an equal enum. And what we're going to see is if it's equal to male head 1. And if it is, we're going to copy our player ref here and paste it. And we're going to get hair. And then we want to pull off of here and set transform. and we're going to set the relative transform. We're going to hook that into the true. And then on the new transform here, we're going to split struct. So this is the really tedious part. So for these transforms, you need to change you know, the info on this based on the different head type that you're using. So it's a little rough, but it's not that bad. It's just a lot of tweaking. So for male head 1, we already know the transforms we need for that. So we're just going to copy all the transforms that we put right here. So for this one, it's going to be negative 156. Let's put that. Negative 156. We're going to go back and see that's negative 180 on the rotation X, negative 180. Then we're going to go see negative 90 on the Y. So negative 90. And then 180 on the Z. So 180. And compile. And save. So basically, I'm going to pull this up here. So basically, we just want to do this for each head type that we have. So that should work for our first one. So let's just copy this right here, copy and paste. I'm going to move this guy up. And we're going to hook this into the false. And then the next one, we're going to check our male head 2. And if that one's true, depending on your head shape, you may want to tweak these values. Now, for me, I know for a fact my third male head is bigger than my first one. So I'm going to show you the tweaking on that guy. So I'm just going to copy and paste this again. And I'm going to check male head 3. And I'm going to show you the difference right now without changing these values, what it will look like on my third male head. So just press play, and right now, just to show you that it's working, let's set our hair button. We got our hair working on our first male head. Let's go back. Let's change our face to my third one, because as you can see, his head is definitely bigger than my first one. So I'm going to go to the, let me change his face back to the third one, change the hair to this one, and you can see it, you know, the location on it is different. It's kind of going a little more into his head. So this is basically the thing that you're going to want to tweak a lot per head. So what I'm going to do for him is I'm going to bring this down to like negative 154, because my X is basically my Z now because of the parenting that we did there. And then I'm going to show you now when I set my face to my third one and then change my hair to this one. You can see it now goes up a little bit more. And yeah, that's the general idea behind how this works. And yeah, so that's what you want to do for all your head types. So for now, I'm just going to copy all of this. Let's just move all of this up and over a bit. Then I'm going to copy all of the where we're setting the transforms and checking the head types. I'm going to plug this into the female side of things and just move this down. And we're going to check the female heads. Female head 1, female head 2, and female head 3. And then you want to do the same thing. I mean, everything is going to be in the general same, you know, area. You shouldn't have to touch the rotation at all. The rotation should be good for all of them. But you might want to do small tweaks, you know, on the location and even on the transform. The transform, changing that a little bit could be useful on different head types depending on like the scale of your heads. If you're, you know, because like I've said a few times throughout the tutorial, sometimes, especially if you didn't take the time to sculpt in the back of the head, I know on the last character creator, that I made, I didn't sculpt the back of the head in on a lot of them, so I had, you know, some head poking out. So I would get some clipping on some of the hair. Like when I would check the back of the head, it would clip through a little bit. So sometimes what I would do is just up the transform scale of the hair to kind of, you know, fix the issues with the clipping. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna do all the tweaking for the hairs in this. I think you kind of get the idea of it. You know, you just want to check each head type, you know, change a few values in here, and, you know, just change them until you get it looking right. That's the general idea of what you want to do here. But what I'm gonna do is, for now, we're gonna call it here, but I'm gonna do this whole process again. We're gonna make another set of hair, and we're going to, you know, I'm gonna do the whole process at least one more time, so you can get the idea behind it. And, you know, you just want to do the whole process for each hair that you want to add. And we're gonna do the same exact process for our facial hair. And, yeah, it's tedious. It's tedious, but yeah. Oh yeah, I also had some people asking questions about using MetaHuman's hair for this. I think for the most part, it should work. It depends on which MetaHuman hair you're wanting to use. But I would, you know, like I was saying earlier, the binding, the MetaHuman hairs automatically come with them binded to whatever skeletal mesh that you made them with. So I would either create a binding for each skeletal mesh type. You know, create a binding asset for each skeletal mesh type, or just completely get rid of the binding and do the process that we're doing here, parent this to the head socket, and then do the location, you know, tweaking stuff that we're doing. You know, it just depends. And if you are doing, like I mentioned earlier, if you are gonna try to do the route of creating a binding per each skeletal mesh asset, what you would want to do is right now you would want to create, you know, keep this empty, and then when you come in here and set the groom asset, you would want to, right here where we're checking the head types, you would also want to set the binding that you created for each head type. And I hope that makes sense, but yeah. But yeah, we're gonna call it here for this one. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're new around here, definitely subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know those down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.